Friday evening here in the UK. Let me know where you are, what's going on in your world. We've just managed to get the kids to bed. One of the cats has joined us. The other one's asleep over there, and the other one is somewhere else. This one's Fiero. You can probably see in the background here, the big grey one. Hey, hi, Fifi. No, just yawning. Nobody ever works harder than a cat that has done literally nothing all day. Isn't that right, Fifi? I've had a week of coming back from holiday with my family, and I've just done a drama school production over the last 3 days with a youth drama group. So that's been quite full on. So I'm looking forward to a bit more of a chilled weekend and getting all the laundry done from holiday. There's always so much laundry to do. It's just never ending. One of the downsides of holiday. From Arizona, USA. Hey, Frosted Flakes, Courtney. What's the weather like in Arizona today? It's probably nice, I would imagine. It's been quite warm here still in the UK, but not as hot as it has been, so we can cope better here. Lexington, SC, fantastic. Oh, I love hearing about where you all are. It's really cool. Like I love that about online communities. You can just chat to each other from wherever in the world and find your other weirdos. It's brilliant. I feel quite isolated sometimes out here. Like we live out in a little village that's kind of on the main train line on the way to London, which is quite good. So we specifically live here because I can just hop on the train and get to London for bits of work and things. But it's a little village where people tend to live here forever, and their families live here, and their grandparents live here and stuff. So it's like people don't move away very much, and often do quite kind of normal person jobs. So I feel like I don't really fit in. I do kind of odd things, doing music and stuff. So, Texas, 104 in Texas. Howdy. Too hot. Where's that? Go back, honey. It's too hot. Oh, Courtney says it's too hot, honestly. 38 here. Will. Yeah, that is hotter. It's like, what is it now, honey? It's probably only about 16 degrees here at the moment or something.
17, yeah.
17 degrees here. But during the day, it was more like 25 or something, which is about right for the UK. We're just not cut out for hot weather. Whenever I travel to the States and things, it is hotter, obviously, but you've got aircon and tiled floors, and you're just better set up for it. Everything here is carpeted, and our houses are built to retain heat. So, because, the UK tends to have quite cold winters, but nowadays our winters are not that cold and our summers are roasting hot. So that's the environment we're living in now, and the UK is not cut out for it. They actually shut a lot of the schools when it was like 37, and so we had all our kids at home, and it was like, oh great, well we haven't got any air conditioning either. So we were just all at home, sweltering together, trying to work and keep the children from rioting. So good times. But I'm glad you're all right.
Tell me a bit about what we're reacting to.
So we thought today Tom and I were chatting. Husband Tom is just over here, just beyond the cat. We were having a chat about Ozzy Osbourne and how it was. Gosh, was it a year ago now?
Second, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just over a year ago. When we were on holiday in Turkey, we were talking about that and how quickly that time has gone, but then not in other ways. And I'd never listened to that much Black Sabbath when I was younger because my parents didn't really listen to it. It wasn't. Some of their stuff that was a bit edgy wasn't on the radio very much because it was deemed too edgy in that era for kind of morning breakfast show kind of things on the BBC. They weren't super okay with that. Anything that was quite aggressive about war or anything that had a kind of presumed a satanic edge to it. But then when I was at the Grammys earlier this year, they did this lovely tribute to Ozzy, and it was like Chad Kroger and Duff McKagan. It was loads of awesome people. It was like, whoa. And they did War Pigs. And I don't really know. I'm sure I've heard that song before, but I think I've ever really registered it. And I watched the performance. It was very near the end of the show. And they had this bit on the big screen at the back. They had images of Ozzy and the family and things. And Kelly and Sharon were sitting right there crying and they just looked so sad because they were still really grieving. Both of them were looking very, very frail. And I'd just seen Sharon earlier that day go up on stage with Youngblood and accept the award with him for the Ozzy concert that they did, and that was lovely. But yeah, it was a really beautiful moment, particularly as a British person. Oh, Wintersun Alex! Hey! Lovely to see you! Amazing. I love that. Fantastic. Yes, so I remember kind of vaguely hearing the song, but I would think it was very late in the day. It's like the Grammys day is the longest day in existence. So all of it looks like it just happens in the evening. But no, it's the longest day ever. So you have to be in full hair and makeup and your gown and high heels at about 9:30, 10 in the morning. And of course it was, the time difference for me was massive as well. So I was already jet lagged. So you're up at what feels like 2 in the morning. You're just like, what is happening? And then you do like a photo shoot in the morning, and then you have an entire ceremony, the first ceremony. And then you have lunch kind of while standing up. You're eating a burger, queuing up to go into the next ceremony. They do them kind of back to back. So this is in ceremony number 2, and I was up in like the poor person seats up at the top because they're the only ones I can afford at the Grammys. And I think I'd been awake for 20 hours at this point or something in a full face of makeup, still trying to look presentable. And I had a party and then an after party after that as well. So I didn't go to bed till like 3. So I remember Walpurgis being played and who was playing, but I don't really remember the song. I don't remember registering the song. So I thought it'd be really good, kind of in memory of Ozzy, it being just over a year since he died, for me to have a look at Walpurgis, because I've never properly listened to it. So I had a little bit of a look up, and it was called, I looked it up because it was like, oh, this is interesting. So initially they had called it, where is it? Walpurgis. So the bassist, Geezer Butler, had originally titled the song after Walpurgis, which is a traditional European witches' festival. He viewed war itself as the ultimate form of evil, which, he's probably right. It is awful. War is the absolute worst. And he's comparing military generals to participants in a black mass, kind of something really evil. So, but apparently the management were like, yeah, we don't like Walpurgis, because I'm probably pronouncing that completely wrong. Let me know how it's meant to be pronounced. Yes, they felt like Walpurgis felt it sounded too explicitly satanic, which I guess it does. So the lyrics are very anti-war. So they didn't change any of the lyrics, but they changed the title to War Pigs from Walpurgis. So I guess that helps make it slightly more palatable for radio play, I guess. Because I was thinking, what a weird title. War Pigs. How strange. Do pigs particularly go to war? But now I understand. It's that makes sense. Here we go. Oh, that's better. Oh.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh, Lord.
Blimey. I love this. It's just straight away, these are the lyrics. We're not messing around. It's really accusatory, and I like that. I love that music can always be outspoken in that way. We can just say what we want, and it's like uncensored in that way, that you can do that with music, you can do that with art. Like, you can't really go on the news and say that, they wouldn't be overly happy about it, but you can do that in a song. And I love that Black Sabbath were like, no, we're saying this. They changed the title, but they did not change a single lyric. And they kept it very much, these generals going to war, they're basically, it's like a mass for the dead. Like, we're, bringing up evil and like a mass for Satan. And I always think about that, about the innocent people who went to war. They're just normal people living normal lives. And the generals probably all survived it because they didn't actually do any fighting. They just decided, we'll put this battalion of these people over here, and then they'll march off to their death, and then they'll fight these people, and kind of like toy soldiers. And they could just make those decisions for innocent people who had no choice but to sign up and fight. And it's just so, it's like trying to explain to our daughter who is obsessed with history, and she's like, why were there so many wars? Why couldn't they just decide, why couldn't the kings just decide together what was going to happen, who was going to take over? Why did it have to involve these huge bloody battles where loads of innocent people died who weren't ever going to be king anyway? I was like, I didn't really have a good answer, because there isn't really a good reason. It's just that we do that because we can. When there's people in power, they can make you do that. I guess that's what Black Sabbath is saying, is that, these generals, these people, these like harbingers of war, these big overlords can make these things happen, can create these awful things because they're in charge. They have the power, and they can cause this enormous, like the dead in their masses. And it's really bleak. It's a really, really dark imagery, and the way they've got the sky in this, it's kind of like First or Second World War kind of imagery, but also kind of post-apocalyptic, kind of set in the future. It feels a bit Handmaid's Tale. If you know the visuals from that TV series, it kind of feels like that, even though this is a long time ago. This video, it's really interesting. I guess it basically shows that people are people, and war is war, no matter when you're from. That nothing changes, and you will still die as a just a little person, just kind of pawn in the game of battle over countries. You're just someone who dies in a field because some big general said you had to. It's heavy, but I'm really, really glad that I'm actually listening to these lyrics now, because it's really good. Let me know if you already know the song or what your thoughts are on it. I'd love to know. Okay. my goodness. This is so oppressive in like the best way possible. It's got the visuals, the colour scheme of it. They're using kind of like deteriorated film. So the film looks quite almost like sepia. So it looks like it's from a different era. And then the only colour in it is red. And so you've got this very kind of murky looking brownish kind of colour that's most of the imagery. And then this one colour that's red. And I think that reminds me of a Schindler's List. So we have that whole film was in black and white. And then the only moment of colour is the little girl in the red coat that you see moving through. That's the only colour you see in it. And it's, I don't know, I guess this video must have been made long before Schindler's List. I can't think of the timelines now. But Schindler's List was not 90s, was it? I think. Tom's looking it up for me. But it's really interesting that it's the same colour scheme they're using, and it makes you feel quite uncomfortable and oppressed, and that the girl dropping the handkerchief and the person looking up as they're marching off to do this job, and that there's this like surveillance camera on them, so they're not going to be able to escape, and this like overlord person in charge is watching them all do their jobs. It's dark.
Okay, so War Pictures from their Paranoid album in 1970.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So
Schindler's List was 93, of course.
Yes, that's what I thought. So I thought the timelines. I wonder if some of this imagery helped inform Schindler's List. I wonder. It's interesting. So this is from like the 70s. This came out on the Paranoid album, which I thought it was. I thought it was 70s. And then Schindler's List was the 90s, because I vaguely remember that. I didn't watch it at the time because I was only, young. I've watched it since, and that was the most traumatic thing ever. But I'm glad I watched it because we should know about these terrible things that happened. But it's just really interesting that it's that same colour scheme, and it makes me feel very uncomfortable. I think it's meant to have that feeling. Someone saying about the sirens, incredibly eerie. But yes, yeah, Metropolis 1984 looks at that kind of thing. It's just that kind of colour scheme. Like you may have heard me say before about black and white films make me feel physically sick. I have this weird, like black and white TV. I don't know if I had like some bad experience watching black and white TV or something, but there's something about certain black and white things. Maybe it's because there's no depth of field or something, but it makes me feel really physically queasy, like car sick when I'm watching black and white things. So I try not to watch black and white too much because I just don't. It makes me feel really physically ill. But this does as well, and it's got that weird sepia thing. And actually the beginning of Moulin Rouge is like that as well, and they've got that same sepia colour scheme and just that red. And it always makes me feel a little bit, I don't know, like that queasy feeling of like somebody watching you or something. I don't know, it just sits weirdly with me, and I think it's probably meant to have that effect. And the sirens, 100%. Like I can imagine this not being played on the radio because people would be like hearing it in their cars when they're driving to work and hearing sirens. You'd think it was actually, the sirens were real and you were hearing them, outside rather than from the radio. But yeah, the sirens, like get you straight in. You're like, oh, okay, this is, they're not messing around. They're making this really real rather than, using a guitar effect that sounds similar. Like, no, that is a siren. That is, you're straight in. And I really like these very dry vocals. So often vocals are treated with some reverb and some kind of ambience and things just to give it this kind of depth. But Ozzy's vocals are completely dry. Like he's just right up here and then there's no effects at all. Which is interesting because in some of the other tracks that I've heard, like Paranoid and things, he has some effects on his voice which work really well. But this is very dry and it really works. And I'm enjoying that in this. I haven't listened to the full album. I should probably listen to the full album, of the Paranoid album. But I'm really enjoying how stark everything about this is, including the way the instruments and the vocals are treated in the session. Yes, lack of colour makes it look nightmarish. Yeah, it does. It's got a weird hello. It's got a really weird I don't know, there's something just unsettling, like creepy about it. It's yeah. I'm glad you others are thinking the same. It's not just me who's totally freaked out by this video, but I'm really enjoying it. It's really well done because you're meant to feel uncomfortable. We shouldn't feel comfortable about war. That's not normal for people. Humans are not meant to go through stuff like this. We're not cut out for this. And we're not meant to see awful things like that. Yet it happens all the time. It's on the news. And it just shows you this is made in the 70s. We're a long way ahead in so many ways, but this looks like it could be from now. There's things about this that are still exactly the same. Wars still rage. There's still people in charge who are never going to have to fight the battles. They'll just be there and letting the poor people do it. And it's depressing that we haven't moved even an inch forward in some ways. Oh, life. Just have a look at Ozzy knew how to put lyrics over it. He did. And I like Ozzy's voice. I like that it's not a particularly beautiful voice. It's a really iconic voice. As soon as you hear it, you know exactly who it is. And that's what kind of part of Black Sabbath's sound was, that quite piercing sound of Ozzy. If he had a really beautiful melodic voice, I don't think they would have been as successful. It needed to sound a little bit unhinged and a little bit urgent. The way he sings things, it's like he has to get those words across. And I really enjoy that. Oh, Ren's done a version of it. What? Ren's done a version? What were you saying about? Yes, I'll just say, so Alex, yes, I did get your request for your mother, Kathy. How is Kathy? How's she doing? I will get around to doing the Wintersun one. She loves Nightwish, yeah, and I'll do the Wintersun one. It's on my list. But it's really long, so I need to make sure I do that one. Yeah, I know it was a few. I know but like I get so many messages from all over the place, and so I do try and get to everybody. But yeah, I've got people replying on all different kinds of platforms, so I promise I'll do it. I can't believe Courtney says, yeah, Ren did a version with the Big Push of War Pigs.
Wow.
I did not know that. Flippin' heck, Courtney. You know your stuff. You know your stuff. But yes, Alex, I will get to the Wintersun thing. I promise. Well, the Wintersun one. Yeah. Well, I'll see. The hayseed dries. Ooh, you lot, you're so clever. You know all the stuff. Good job I got you, isn't it? Right. Okay. Let's just get back a tiny bit. Okay. Here we go. Oh, now I can't hear anything. Oh, hang on. It's because it's muted.
Darkness, world stops turning as ashes where the body's burning. No more war pigs have the power. And as God has struck the hour, day of judgment, God is calling. On the knees, the war pigs crawling, begging mercies for the sins. Satan laughing spreads his wings. Oh, Lord, yeah.
Oh my goodness. That was unbelievable. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. Like I thought, wow, I don't know. That was incredible. That is really not what I thought it was when I heard it at the Grammys. I think I was just watching all the big amazing performers play and thinking, oh, that's cool. And I really didn't know what the lyrics were and how dark it is. Nice drum fills. Yeah, excellent. Ren busted with Rage Against the Machine mashup. Flipping heck. Yeah, some of you saying the video is a bit much. It's pretty relentless, right? It's quite a suffocating video. You finish it and you're like, oh God. Oh, I feel a little bit traumatized. I was reading the comments, babe. It's all right. Hazy Dixies. Oh yeah, black. He's not black. He's grey. He's a Russian blue. This one called Fiero, like from Wicked, because he is silly and he gets all the other cats into trouble because he's always up to something naughty. And he's quite lazy, like Fiero. Doesn't put any work into anything, but has a good heart. So we called him Fiero. Because we have 3 musical theatre named cats. The stripy one that's down there, he's called the Marquis de Lafayette, like from Hamilton. And we have Matilda, the little white one that you might have seen before. Meow. Matilda from Matilda. So they all have their own little theme song that we sing to them because we are very silly people and we really like musical theatre. Have you woken up a bit? Have you? No, not enough to actually pay attention. But yes, this one loves sitting on the sofa. It's his favourite thing. So colours, yes, most of Black Sabbath's lyrics are very dark. I'd never really listened to as much Black Sabbath as I probably should have, because it came out like a decade before I was born, and my parents are really not into anything heavy like that. And so the heaviest stuff that I got into was more like 90s kind of grunge, like Seattle kind of scene. So I need to go back and listen to the kind of the British rock scene from back then, because actually it's really important. It kind of informs a lot of stuff that came later. Ah, beautiful kitty. Your cat was called Simon. Sad if we don't have him here with you anymore. I know you love covers and also Nightwish. I feel I should let you know that Marco from Nightwish has a side project with some other Finnish musicians. Oing, 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 symphonic metal covers. What?
Doing, I think.
Okay. Of classic 80s cheese. That is freaking epic. I love anything symphonic. I can't even talk anymore. Symphonic metal, epic. When there's just like big guitars and drums and strings, I am just 100% in. That is my like favourite. And their covers of 80s cheese. Mate, honey, we need to make that happen. I need to see that immediately. I love a bit of 80s cheese as well. I am, a child of the 80s. We were listening to the radio earlier. We were stuck in a traffic jam. And the song came on by Black Lace called Superman, which was played at every kid's party in the 80s. And my husband was like, I have no idea what this song is. He's from the north of England, so I don't think they had music up there. I'm from the south. But he's like, I've never heard this song before. So either he didn't get invited to kids' parties when he was a kid. Was that what it was, honey? Didn't get invited to kids' parties. Or in the north, they just didn't have music. I don't know. Could be either. But yeah, that's a proper 80s cheese for me. At one point, there was a poster in the video that said work. Yes, it's got a full-on unpleasant Nazi-meets-Rosie-the-Riveter propaganda. Yes, it's very much that, isn't it? And it's got that kind of unpleasant Handmaid's Tale kind of thing as well, because the colour scheme in Handmaid's Tale is very similar, and they use red instead of white for like purity or something. They're using red, which is a more aggressive human kind of colour. It's really clever. The more mature the cheese, the better.
Yes,
Oh yeah,
that Nazi thing is interesting.
but then
It says famously over the gate to Auschwitz, it said had a sign that said work is free.
But yes, exactly. And the way they're dressed and kind of marching towards some kind of gates did feel very Auschwitz-ish. The way what they're wearing looks kind of like the pajama kind of outfits. It's not. It's really unsettling. It's kind of reminding me of things like Handmaid's Tale and the Silo and things like that we have now, that are kind of meant to be from a later era, but they hark back to that very dark time of World War II, because that kind of sums up the evils that people can be. It works. Schindler's List 3. This video created by Uploaded. It's not the original Sabbath music video. Well, that makes sense then, because I was like, this is pretty high tech for the 70s. That makes total sense. Yeah, dystopian, 100% dystopian. My husband loves things like that. He's like, his favourite thing is like proper sci-fi, like dystopian future sci-fi. That's his favourite thing, not like Star Wars westerns in space kind of thing, but this kind of thing. Black, red and white are classic fascist colours. It's why Pink Floyd used it in the animations for The Wall. Which we will 100% be doing. I've been getting into Pink Floyd, which I've been really enjoying. Listy. And so I've done a full reaction to the whole of Dark Side of the Moon, which I listened to end to end, and it was amazing. All of you who said you would listen to it in one go were 100% right. It's amazing. And I'm going to do the same with The Wall, and I'm going to watch some of their films. There's the film version, and I want to watch that as well, because I feel like I've missed out on that entire era of music. And you're all like, what the hell? How can you not know Pink Floyd? I'm like, just passed me by. My parents didn't listen to it. It wasn't on the radio. So I'm really, is this real? What, the video or me talking about not having listened to Pink Floyd much before? But yeah, that explains never avoid the Floyd. Yeah, I've now learned that, and just crying at David Gilmour's guitar solos. And I'm like, how have I missed out on this for my whole life? I could have been crying for many more years with these guitar solos. So now that's in there. Never avoid the Floyd. That's really good. I like that. Interested to listen to early Floyd, Medal or before. Ooh, we could have a go, couldn't we? We could certainly have a go. I'm really interested to see evolutions of bands, particularly because they would have had Sid still in it back at the beginning, I'm assuming. This is before he went a bit pear-shaped with drugs. That would be really interesting. Oh, Leo Moraccioli does a lot of heavy covers from Adele to Dire Straits. Awesome. What does hubby think of your Floyd awakening?
I like it.
You like it? Come over here and tell the peeps.
No.
He's saying no. Why not?
What the cat's in there?
That's all right. You can sit here. He doesn't like being on screen. He's good at science and stuff, this one. Yeah. Live at Pompeii. I've watched Pompeii live at Pompeii, but apparently, what is that the one that I mean?
No, we did
the Echoes at Pompeii. I did that one, but apparently, because I don't know enough about Floyd, it wasn't the full version of the song. They did a funny cut down version. Everyone's like, it's the wrong one, you've got to do the full thing. I had no idea there was a longer version, so I will need to do that, because I now know I've missed out big chunks of it because I didn't know it was there. So hey, you've stumbled across this live. Hello. You usually watch but afterwards. Well, nice to meet you. Yeah. So colours for this one, it is quite beigey. It's a funny, uncomfortable feeling. But it's like it's underlit with crimson, like seeping blood kind of thing. It's a really dark, unpleasant colour, like horror films, that kind of, when they sort of bleed out the colours, so everything looks very, very unsaturated. And then the red, they always have the very thick, dark red blood. It's kind of like that. It makes me feel quite kind of creeped out and a bit sick. Even if I don't look at the video, just the vocals being so high and having that kind of aggressive edge that's kind of like a razor, and the drum fills and everything, it's so present and so powerful and just so solid with the lyrics. There's no kind of hinting around at talking about other things that could be about war. It's talking about war directly. It's very interesting they did this at the Grammys. I wonder if that was a choice, because there were quite a lot of political speeches at the Grammys, and some people in the room, most people were cheering about that. But online afterwards, a lot of people were very upset about anything that was said that wasn't what they agreed with. I wonder if they chose specifically War Pigs as the song to use to honour Ozzy rather than any of his others. There's so many other ones they could have chosen, but they chose that to have in the ceremony. And I wonder if that was quite a deliberate act, which sounds pretty Grammys-ish, to be fair. But yeah, interesting. My nan used to call them Black Abbott. She was quite deaf, though. Bless. Black Abbott. Yeah, I wonder what older people thought when Black Sabbath came along. They must have been like, oh God, this is evil. you know, people didn't like rock and roll when it first came out. That was allegedly the devil's music. Blimey, yeah, this must have been quite a challenge for people.
Should we do something else? Should we do something else?
Yeah, should we do the Wintersun? Is it too long to do now?
No, we can do it if you want.
How long is it?
13 minutes.
I can do it.
If people
Yeah, I thought I might do the Wintersun song that Kathy's been asking for quite a while, which I kept saying I'd do. Hopefully they're still there. She's a devotee Catholic. So yeah, some of that imagery must have been a bit... We're talking about the devil and things, but yeah. There's a I don't know if you've seen the film, what's it called? Wonder Woman, the first one, not the weird second one, the first one with Gal Gadot. And like she goes and takes part in the war, in the Second World War, and she thinks that one of the gods, Ares, who's the god of war or the god of evil or something, is the one that's creating the war, that's creating all these problems. So she comes to fight him. So it's like the devil is running the war. And as soon as they were saying that kind of thing in the song, I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of the same message they were giving in that film, that there's something bigger and more evil kind of guiding these people into making these terrible choices. Because yeah, that's quite a big decision to just go like, well, I'm going to invade this country, or I'm going to have all those people killed, or I'm going to send all my people off to die in this battle, well, knowing they're going to die in this battle because I want for my country to have this land or to do this thing. And most of us would think, well, I wouldn't sacrifice somebody else for my own wants. That's kind of normal behavior to not think that's okay. So what kind of mind must you have to be willing to sacrifice hundreds and thousands of people you've never even met for a cause that's your own? It's quite something. Oh, interesting. I used to do arithmetic in colours, an old retired mathematician, but they faded in your 70s. That's really interesting that they faded. I found mine faded when I had, after my children were born. They were really vibrant, all my kids, while I was pregnant, but I had really crippling postnatal or postpartum, if you're American, you'd call it postpartum depression. I had that after the births of both my children, and I found I couldn't see the colours anymore. And I found it worse then. I've had depression at various times, and I'm still on antidepressants now, but that just keeps me at a nice base level. I'm good. But particularly, like psychologically, I was really sort of chemically messed up after my kids were born, and I couldn't see the colours anymore. And I knew there was something not right then, because my brain didn't do the weird things it normally does. My brain was normal in that I could just hear music and not see anything. So yeah, me becoming normal was a sign that something was not normal. But that's interesting that yours have faded as you've got older.
Listening.